Joining us now, former Commissioner Bud Selig, former owner of the Brewers, Bud Selig. We thank you for joining us on the show. We offer you condolences, sir, and we're interested in your thoughts today.
Well, thank you very much. You can say a lot of things. Jason knows me pretty well. Bob was a baseball guy. Bob and I used to kid a lot. We were two Milwaukee kids that grew up, took different paths. But when I hired him in January of 1971 at the New York Writers' Dinner, we went out afterwards. I said, "How'd you like to work for the Brewers?" He said, "I'd love to." That was it. We never had a contract, never had any broadcast games, and he's done the same with Mark Antanasio. And I've watched your coverage today, which has been remarkable. But you pictured Bob the way it was. Bob was a baseball guy, and he was just remarkable. Loyal to Milwaukee and Wisconsin. He's just, this is a tough day for all of us because we used to sit up in the dining room before games. It would only be Bob and Judy, maybe Sue and I. And we'd have laughs and talk about the game and talk about things. And Bob came up with more stuff. Tim McCarver is right. He had an unbelievable mind. But he did love the game. Oh, my goodness, did he love the game. And so it's a sad day for the millions and millions of Brewer fans who have lived and died. Bob made himself, by the way, a great announcer. Didn't start out that way, but Bob made himself. Oftentimes I would replay the ninth inning of games, only if we won, you understand. But listening to Bob in the ninth inning was unbelievable.
But
and how he loved baseball and loved the Brewers.
But it's Jason Stark. Condolences, and I know you've known Bob Uecker for a really long time. Can you describe what he means to baseball in Milwaukee?
I can. I have known Bob. I think Bob and I first met in about 1959, 60. So, Jason, you can, that's 65 years. And, in fact, we went to this, it just comes to my mind, we went to the World Series together when he was with the Cardinals. And we got lost in a subway. We were going out to look at Ford's special plan, and Bob and I wanted to see it. We got lost on the freeway, spent the rest of the night trying to figure out how to get back to the hotel. And I said to Bob, just to inject a little humor, "Bob, you got to play tomorrow." He said, "Buddy, they got McCarver. I'm not playing. It doesn't matter how late I'm up." and he was right, but Bob means so much. It's really remarkable how he got to be. He means so much to Brewer fans and baseball fans. But he just, he was one of them. And they knew it. So this is an incredibly sad day in Milwaukee and Wisconsin.
But you mentioned that you hired Bob Uecker originally as a scout.
Yeah.
So how did he come to become a broadcaster? Was he not that good a scout?
Oh, he was a horrible scout. He might be the worst scout in baseball history, and he wouldn't deny it. Let me tell you what happened. I hired him as a scout. He didn't have any openings on the broadcast. At that time, a brewery had control over it, and I had to talk them into hiring Bob a year later and paying half his salary. I didn't want him. Think about that. And boy, did he make himself a great announcer. But that's I had to put him somewhere, so I hired him as a scout. And Frank Lane, you remember bombastic Frank Lane, came roaring into my office a week later, and he said, "What am I going to do with your guy?" Your guy was Uecker. I said, "Well, he's a former catcher and player." He said, "I can't. Here, look at that." And he showed me, and it was a fact. He had mashed potatoes and gravy all over the scouting room. You couldn't read any. But we worked our way around that, and Bob finally in '73 got the opportunity, and the rest is history. And I want to emphasize, he made himself a great announcer.
Bud Selig, former Commissioner Emeritus for Major League Baseball. We thank you for your time. We're thinking of you and the folks in Milwaukee today. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Our pleasure.